This is not a drill. Tonight, right now, as you are watching this, a multi-day severe weather outbreak that has already killed people, flattened entire neighborhoods, and produced one of the strongest tornadoes seen in the United States in nearly a year, is entering its 6th consecutive day. And tonight's threat is not finished. The storms are still firing. They are still moving east, and millions of Americans from Arkansas to Mississippi to Tennessee to the Carolinas are directly in the crosshairs for baseball-sized hail, damaging wind gusts, flash flooding, and dangerous tornadoes before this night is over. If you live in any of those states, you need to stop what you are doing right now and make sure you know where your safe place is. Because what has happened over the past 6 days across the central United States is one of the most relentless, destructive, and deadly severe weather stretches in recent memory. And understanding the full scope of what has already hit and what is still coming tonight could save your life. Let's start at the beginning of this outbreak, because what has unfolded since Thursday, April 23rd, is a story that demands to be told in full. On the evening of April 23rd, a violent tornado touched down in Enid, Oklahoma, a city of about 50,000 people, roughly 85 miles northwest of Oklahoma City. This was not a small twister. National Weather Service survey crews arrived on Friday morning and confirmed what the destruction already made obvious. The Enid tornado caused EF4, damage across multiple areas of the city. EF4 means estimated peak winds of 170 to 175 miles per hour, winds powerful enough to completely flatten well-built homes, throw vehicles hundreds of yards, and strip trees down to bare stumps. The National Weather Service issued a rare tornado emergency for Enid as the storm moved through, the agency's most urgent category of tornado. Warning: reserved for situations where a confirmed violent tornado is moving toward a populated area and lives are in immediate danger. The southern side of Enid, particularly the neighborhood of Gray Ridge, took catastrophic damage. At least 40 homes were confirmed damaged on Friday morning alone, with damage assessments expected to continue through the week as survey teams reached areas still too debris-strewn to access. At least 10 people were injured. Remarkably, no deaths were reported in Enid itself, a near miracle given the intensity of the storm. The Enid EF4 was confirmed as the strongest tornado in the United States since June 2025. One tornado, one city, and the outbreak was only beginning. On Saturday, April 25th, deadly tornadoes struck North Texas. A strong supercell moving through Wise and Parker counties produced 2 confirmed tornadoes, one in each county. A fatality was confirmed with the Wise County tornado. A second fatality occurred in Parker County, associated with extremely powerful rear flank downdraft winds from the same storm, winds so violent they killed someone even without a direct tornado strike. At least 2 people died. Dozens of families were displaced. Homes and infrastructure across North Texas were damaged across a wide swath of the Dallas-Fort Worth metropolitan area's northwestern suburbs. Millions of people woke up on Sunday morning with blue tarps on their roofs and broken glass in their streets. On Sunday, April 26th, the outbreak continued without pause. Twin tornadoes were observed simultaneously in a rural area near Foraker, Oklahoma. Severe storms fired again across the southern plains and into Kansas, producing significant hail and damaging wind reports across multiple states. A level 4 out of 5 severe weather risk from the Storm Prediction Center covered southeastern Oklahoma on Saturday, with hail greater than baseball size and strong tornadoes explicitly forecast. Baseball-sized hail, that is, hail measuring 2.75 inches in diameter or larger, falling at speeds capable of shattering car windshields, punching through roofs, destroying crops, and causing serious injury to any person caught outdoors without shelter. That is the scale of hail this outbreak has been producing. On Monday, April 27th, the outbreak reached a new level of organized intensity. The Storm Prediction Center placed parts of central Missouri into southern Illinois under a moderate risk, level 4 out of 5, for severe thunderstorms, with multiple strong tornadoes of EF3 intensity or greater explicitly forecast. A broader enhanced risk covered parts of Tennessee, Arkansas, Missouri, Indiana, and Illinois. AccuWeather's Director of Forecasting Operations, Carl Erickson, specifically identified a large part of Arkansas, including Little Rock, as a focal point for discrete supercell thunderstorms and tornadoes during the afternoon and evening. A severe weather outbreak is likely across the Midwest and Mississippi Valley, with all severe hazards possible, including the potential for long-track strong tornadoes. The Monday storms delivered on that threat. A tornado moved through several towns in Clinton County, Illinois, including Germantown and Carlisle during the evening, damaging homes, knocking down trees and power lines, and blocking roads across communities that were already watching the weather nervously. The American Red Cross activated to help displaced residents. No injuries or deaths were initially reported, though damage assessments were continuing Tuesday. More Then 200 preliminary filtered reports of severe weather came in from Monday and Monday night alone, covering wind damage and large hail from Missouri and northern Arkansas all the way to Indiana. And just before 11 p.m. Central Time, the National Weather Service in Little Rock, Arkansas, issued a particularly dangerous situation tornado warning, one of the rarest and most alarming warning categories in the NWS portfolio, reserved only for situations where an exceptionally violent long-track tornado is occurring. For an observed destructive tornado moving through Hanover and surrounding communities in Stone County, Arkansas. That is the context for where we are right now, tonight, on Tuesday, April 28th. 6 consecutive days. An EF4 in Enid. Confirmed fatalities in Texas. Twin tornadoes in Oklahoma. A particularly dangerous situation warning in Arkansas overnight. More than 280 preliminary severe weather reports from Monday alone. And now the threat is shifting east and south, but it is not over. Here is tonight's specific threat picture, and it is serious. A level 3 out of 5. Enhanced risk from the Storm Prediction Center is in place for Tuesday afternoon and evening across a broad zone covering much of Arkansas and parts of southern Missouri, southeastern Oklahoma, northeast Texas, northern Louisiana, and central and northern Mississippi. This risk level means that severe weather is expected, not just possible, not just a slight chance, but expected with multiple rounds of damaging winds, large hail, and tornadoes explicitly forecast. AccuWeather has placed the primary tornado and supercell focus squarely on Arkansas, with Little Rock sitting near the center of the highest risk zone. The atmospheric setup tonight has 2 critical components working together to create dangerous storm potential. The first is instability. A powerful low-pressure system has been pulling a surge of warm, humid air from the Gulf of Mexico directly northward into the region. Gulf moisture has been flooding the lower levels of the atmosphere across Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, and Tennessee all day. This moisture carries enormous energy measured by meteorologists as convective available potential energy, or CAPE. High CAPE values mean that when storm updrafts tap into this unstable air, they can accelerate to extraordinary speeds, creating the powerful rotating thunderstorms known as supercells. Tonight's environment is loaded with that energy. The second critical component is wind shear. Wind shear is the change in wind speed and direction with altitude, and it is the primary ingredient that allows thunderstorms to develop rotation and produce tornadoes. Tonight's setup features intense deep layer wind shear across the primary risk zone. Low-level jets, ribbons of fast-moving air close to the ground, will strengthen through the evening hours, dramatically increasing the wind shear environment and creating ideal conditions for supercell development and tornado formation. When meteorologists see high CAPE combined with intense deep layer wind shear in the same place at the same time, they call it a high-end severe weather environment. That is exactly what tonight's setup represents for Arkansas and the surrounding region. The timing of tonight's storms is a critical detail that every person in the threat zone needs to understand. Based on the atmospheric setup, storm initiation is expected during the afternoon hours, but the most dangerous window is this afternoon and evening, with the potential for storms to continue deep into the night. Nighttime tornadoes are substantially more deadly than daytime tornadoes. The National Weather Service has flagged the after-dark timing of this outbreak's storms repeatedly over the past week as a significant compounding factor. At night, there is no visual warning. The greenish sky, the rotating wall cloud, the debris cloud rising from the ground, none of that is visible in darkness. You depend entirely on your phone alert, your weather radio, or your local sirens to know a tornado is coming, and you may have only seconds between the warning and the tornado's arrival. The hail threat tonight is not secondary. It is a primary danger in its own right. Baseball-sized hail, 2.75 inches across, falls at approximately 100 miles per hour. A single hailstone of that size hitting a person caught outdoors without shelter can cause serious injury. A storm-producing baseball-sized hail can destroy a vehicle's windows and body in under a minute. It can punch through standard residential roofing in seconds. It can demolish crops across entire counties in the time it takes to drive from one end of a farm to the other. And this outbreak has already produced confirmed baseball-sized hail across multiple states, with some reports in the Kankakee, Illinois area during the earlier phases of this outbreak, measuring between 5 and 6 inches in diameter, which, if confirmed, would break the Illinois state record. Tonight's storms are capable of producing hail in the baseball-sized range again across the primary risk zone. The wind damage threat is also significant and extends beyond the tornado risk, damaging straight-line winds, the kind produced when a severe thunderstorm downdraft hits the ground and spreads outward at speeds exceeding 70, 80, or even 90 miles per hour. It can cause damage comparable to a weak tornado without producing any rotation. Multiple hundreds of thousands of people across the central and southern United States have already lost power during this outbreak. Downed power lines from straight-line wind damage create ongoing electrocution hazards that persist for hours or days after the storms pass. Do not assume that because a tornado warning has not been issued, straight-line wind damage cannot be fatal. It can, and it has been during this outbreak. Flash flooding is also explicitly part of tonight's threat. Storms moving through saturated ground and across river systems that are already running high. From a week of repeated heavy rainfall will produce runoff that has nowhere to go. Louisville, Kentucky already experienced flash flooding and storms. The same risk exists tonight across the primary severe weather corridor. 1 to 2 inches of rain per hour falling from a severe thunderstorm into already saturated ground does not need long to create a flash flood. If you see water rising over a road, tonight, do not drive through it. You cannot tell how deep it is. You cannot tell how fast the current is moving. More people die from flash flood drownings in their vehicles than from any other weather-related cause during severe weather outbreaks. Turn around. Do not drown. The broader context of this outbreak demands to be stated clearly. We are on day 6 of a consecutive severe weather event that has already confirmed at least 3 fatalities, generated an EF4 tornado, produced confirmed baseball-sized hail across at least 6 states, and generated over 280 preliminary severe weather reports in a single 24-hour period. The central United States, from Oklahoma and Texas to Wisconsin and Illinois, has been under repeated assault since April 17th, when more than 75 tornadoes tore through the upper Midwest in a single outbreak. That event was followed by a brief pause, and then this new, even more sustained multi-day outbreak that began April 23rd and has not stopped. The storm prediction. Center's Chicago Forecast Office noted that from January 1st through late April, its forecast area had already seen 14 convective watch periods, more than double the historical average through this date. This is what the peak of tornado season looks like when the jet stream is active, the Gulf moisture is flowing, and the atmospheric dynamics align in the way they have aligned repeatedly this spring. These events are not unpredictable. Forecasters saw this outbreak coming days in advance. The Storm Prediction Center posted outlooks flagging the Monday moderate risk on Sunday. AccuWeather was warning about the Tuesday threat on Monday morning. The NWS offices across the affected region have been issuing timely watches and warnings throughout. The system is working. The information is available. The question, always the question during an active severe weather event, is whether the people in the path of the storms are receiving that information in time to act on it. So here is what you need to do right now, tonight, if you are in Arkansas, southern Missouri, northeastern Texas, northern Louisiana, southeastern Oklahoma, central Mississippi, or any area under a tornado watch or severe thunderstorm watch. Know your shelter location and know it now before the storms arrive. The safest place in a tornado is an interior room on the lowest floor of a sturdy building, a bathroom, a closet, a hallway, with as many walls as possible between you and the outside. If you are in a mobile home or manufactured structure, you need to identify a nearby permanent building immediately. Mobile homes offer essentially no protection against a tornado of any intensity above EF0. If the watches are posted for your area and you are in a mobile home, leave now and get to a permanent structure before the storms develop. Make sure your phone's wireless emergency alerts are enabled and the volume is turned all the way up. If you have a no AA weather radio, keep it powered on overnight. Do not go to sleep tonight without a way to receive a tornado warning if one is issued for your location. Do not assume the sirens will wake you up. They may not be audible inside your home. Do not assume you will hear your phone if it is in the next room on silent. And do not step outside if the electricity goes out. Downed power lines are invisible in the dark. Flash floodwaters rise rapidly and can cover roads that looked passable moments ago. This outbreak is on day 6. The atmosphere still has energy to spend. Tonight, in the dark, the states that have already been hit hardest this month, the threat continues. Stay alert, stay informed, stay safe.